Nancy Sims, and we are back with more of The Sims for Where Dreams Reside. And this is our own kind of challenge story thing. It's not really a challenge, it's more like a story let's play that we're doing that is based on the book Every Heart a Doorway. Where Dreams Reside is my let's play. Okay, the space you can't think today. Every Heart a Doorway, which is really great. I've said it before, probably say it in every episode. Pick it up, read it. It's good. It's worth it. But again, this is just inspired by that. Okay, please, I'm going to have you, it's 7 a.m. I'm going to have her take a vacation day from school. Take a vacation day. I want her to stay home. And so, of course, our stories there's one in here. Some of them have a few inspirations from the actual book. And when I get to those ones, obviously, I will tell you, like, okay, this one, is inspired kind of by the story. There is one that is like 100% the inspiration. And I kind of did my own little take on it. But a lot of it is from the book because I really did enjoy that. One of it, when we get there, obviously, I will tell you that. But a majority of these stories are kind of ones that I ran with on my own that I created. Like, okay, you know what? I love the feel of that book and I love the idea of it. So let me create these worlds of my own. And obviously they're pulled from like, okay, other stories or things or ideas. And, they're all like little bits and pieces of things that kind of just funnel down and get created. Like, Edmund's world, obviously, like, I didn't invent steampunk and, like, flying ships and things like that, like, and pirates. But, like, you put them all together, and that's how his world came about. And there was also it's a game, I think, where, like, there were cities that were, like, those traveling, roaming cities, and that's kind of also part of, where that came from. But, anyway, that's not the point. The point is we are with Nadia today because she has been right up there as the fan favorite. She was kind of tied with Edmund in the first round and was beat out by Elke. And then obviously Edmund kind of just took off for the second one, but Nadia has been a strong contender, and everybody on the last episode, there's been a lot of Nadia going on in there. And so everybody kind of wants to see all about her. And why are we glitchy? Oh, dear God. Okay. You're going to go to school. I want to make sure. Why is the game? The game is really glitchy. There are too many Sims. Oh, it's because they're all trying to go to school. I think one of you guys said that in one episode that like it gets kind of glitchy when there's a lot of kids trying to go to school. So we'll give it a minute. But we have Nadia taking a day off of school so we can spend some time with her and get to know her. Now, the thing is, Nadia has her story's a little bit different. She didn't just go to her other world and stay there. She actually was able to slip in and out very easily. So she spent a lot of time going back and forth and crossing the doorway into her world. Trying to think of where to kind of start. So she was slipping in and out of that world for probably over a decade. So she spent over 10 years being able to slip in and out of this world when she needed to. And that need and her ability to do that, well, not necessarily her ability, but her need to do that was based on the fact that she had a very terrible childhood. She had lived in a very neglectful and abusive home. Her parents did not take very good care of her. They spent a lot of effort and time and any money that they have kind of with drugs and alcohol, and they took out a lot of their frustrations and issues and problems on Nadia. So, and that's terrible. But there was also no one around to help her. Her parents moved around a lot, so nobody really ever noticed these issues with her, and they never ever noticed her missing. So that's also made it very easy for her to slip into this other world and not be noticed that she was missing. Her parents didn't really care. They didn't even notice that she was there half the time. So, having that rough childhood when she was a little kid, you're thinking like young child, toddler years, it was extremely awful. And her escape was reading a lot of like Greek mythology and Japanese folklore and like legends and things like that. Like, so think about things like that, like Greek mythology, any kind of like folklore mythology kind of things about fantastic creatures and magical things and like these mysteries, even like things about like the Loch Ness monster and all sorts of like lore and shit like that. She was really into those things. All the fantasy kind of stories, um fairies and witches and unicorns and dragons and things, anything that's kind of mythical and wild and just all of that. That was her escape, was like kind of reading these stories. And she spent a lot of time even in school. She would ditch school a lot when she was a kid because nobody noticed that she was there. Like she didn't obviously live in the best neighborhood, so she didn't go to the best schools. So half the time the teachers didn't really know. They were living in overcrowded areas where there was a lot of kids in the school and nobody really paid attention. Like it's sad to say that that's the kind of life that she was in, but it was. So she spent a lot of time. Girl, you did not just break my sink. Girl. Oh, she needs to go to sleep. I'm going to cheat that up. She also needs social, but we don't have anyone to talk to right now. So why don't you go get something to eat? Isn't there actual food? But whatevs. We'll let you get stressed out and scared. But yeah, so that was her early childhood, and it was really kind of terrible. So she spent a lot of time in the school libraries, reading these books, like kind of hiding. Think about like, do you remember like the Never-Ending Story where the kid like sneaks the book, like the Never-Ending Story book, and like he's hiding in this freaking school attic, and like nobody even knows he's fucking missing. It's like that, but like, she'd be like hiding. She'd always find hiding places. She was very good at finding little kind of places to hide, nooks and crannies. Any house that her parents moved her to, there was well, first of all, they were probably always run down pieces of shit anyway. So it was really easy for her to find little places to go hide and sneak into, little hidey holes where she could bury herself away and stay away from her parents, especially when they were in those rage moods. And it was in one of those instances where she kind of found this doorway to this world. And it wasn't just a single doorway. Like I said, she could easily slip. So anywhere she went, she always had this knack of finding these doorways because they're small. Think about like, Alice fell down the giant rabbit hole, but like they're tiny little dens and caves and things that she would be able to travel through all these doorways. And the world that she ended up, kind of going to was called Akiobari. And it is very much a magical place. I mean, all these places are kind of magical, but this one, I mean, look at Nadia. She's very bright colored. She's over the top in everything, like a rainbow of things. And that's, of course, because she had a very, very dark, dark life and a very dark childhood. So she kind of overcompensated by absorbing all that now, like in her like late teenage years, like bright colors, everything's got to be bright and cheery and happy. And she, darkness is kind of like, no, she doesn't deal with that. So it is a very weird situation, say for her and Elke, because Elke is very much the opposite. Like I like it dark and I like shadows and I don't like bright things. And I feel like the two of them would have a hard time getting to know each other. It'd be very much like, I don't get you, because they don't get each other. They're very much opposites in that respect. But as dark as Elke is, that is how bright Nadia is. She's also, I feel like, tries to be very cheerful and happy and doesn't deal with, bad things. So like if something bad were to happen, like you try to like, okay, you've got to process those feelings. She can't deal with things like that. It's very difficult for her because of, her childhood. But she also, in Akiobari, she kind of found a place, obviously, to escape. And this place is, the best way to kind of describe it, and where a lot of the inspiration kind of came from, or where I kind of got the idea from, is the Kitsune legends, folklore, like Japanese folklore, where they're like magical fox people. I kind of didn't read too much into it. It was like I kind of got the idea from there, and I'm like, okay, and I kind of just pulled that. Which I think is funny. Side note: if you watch my playthrough of Mystic Destinies, Kitsune shows up in that, and I was like, oh my god, that's awesome, because I totally like had this story kind of planned out for Nadia, and then that happened in Mystic Destinies, and I don't know if that part's come up yet, before we're doing this, or like because obviously I've recorded and finished all of Mystic Destinies that there is right now. And it's going up in tandem with this, so I think, yeah, obviously. So I'm not sure what part it is. I don't know if it came up last week or if it's one of the parts this week. Or maybe it was one of the parts even the past couple of weeks. I don't remember if it was in Hikaru's book. No, it's in Hikaru's book too. Where the Kitsune legend stuff comes in, and I'm like, that's fucking awesome, but I can't tell you why, guys, and this is why. So I'm not sure if that's going to come up after this or before this part, but anyway. So for those of you who watch this and do watch the Mystic Destinies playthrough, you'll kind of see the tie-in. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they brought that up. But yeah, so and that's basically. I mean, we're not going to get too much into the Japanese folk legend of Kitsune because. Okay, so wait, I texted someone, but they didn't text back. It's been like an hour. Should I text them again? No, wait for them to respond. Okay. Yeah, she doesn't have a lot of... Her emotional control is going to be like, yes, very, very... Did you not eat? I swear you ate. Oh, you only had, like, freaking candy. Girl, you need to go eat. Okay, we're going to get you real food. Okay, let's just let you take a bath then. But yeah, so the thing about... And I kind of took with the Kitsune legends where they were, like, magical beings that could kind of transform into foxes and, you know, and went with that. So basically, this world... is more like, they're obviously not just foxes, they're different animals. And they're not necessarily the same type of quote-unquote foxes that we would have in our world. They're different. Like, think about, like, Pokemon. You know, you see, you're like, it's like a dragon, but it's not really. It's like a dragonfish. You know, dragonfish fox thing. They're like that. They're slightly different. You know, because, like, the Kitsune can have multiple tails. You could have a cat with a horn. It could be a unicat. You know, things like that. Not necessarily... as normal, but they're not totally out there. It's not going to be like a weird dragon, horse, cat, fox hybrid thing. They're just slightly different. And what also makes them different is the fact that they are not normal colors, say, like what we have. So think about, like, look at Nadia's hair. It's like a goddamn fucking rainbow, right? That's the way this world is, and that's the way these creatures and animals and people are. They're very brightly colored. Like, I wouldn't say, like skin tone wise, they're probably normal human kind of skin tones. But their animal furs and patterns is more brightly colored. Like, it's not going to be weird for them to say, oh my god, oh, you have food. I'll clean up. Oh my god, who's going through a phase now? Oh my god, no, somebody stop. Picky eater. Ezra is going through a phase. Edmund is going through a phase. Oh, God. Okay, can you come down here and make food? I need to have her make food for a second. Like, cook. Because we have no goddamn food. Cook fruit salad. I'm going to have you cook. We need tons of food. Let's make mac and cheese. Because there's no food, I need to just have her make a ton of food. This is what she's going to have to do. Eggs and toast. Because this poor girl is starving, and, like, we'll make fish tacos, and then we'll have her cook something else, too. I just need to have her cook and get some food for these poor freaking kids, and my game is so glitchy because there's so many people here. Oh, no. Cook. Let's go down. What else do we have? Pancakes. And I will cheat her hunger up for now, while we do this. But, yeah. So this world, so, like, there's, like, say, fox people and cat people. Think about, like, being an animagus in the Harry Potter universe. You know, you're a person that you can transform into an animal. But the animals there, like I said, they're very different colored. So, and they're all different patterns. So you think about, like, a fox. A fox kind of pretty much looks standard. I mean, I'm sure there's slight different variations, but generally, if you see one fox, you don't know one fox from another, you know? Whereas cats, like, if you think of a calico cat, if you had 5 calico kittens, they're all going to have different patterns, but, like, similar colors. The animals there, they have, like, rainbow different colors. They can have bright colors, like pastel colors, you know, rainbowy colors, and they're all slightly different. So even in a family, you know, you're not going to have the same patterns, you could have a different color patches and things. So everyone's very unique in that sense. There's a very sense of uniqueness. Everybody's kind of individual in that, but there's also the sense of community, obviously, because, you know, hey, the cat people kind of stick together. Not, it's not like they're, hold on. Let me do this and then we'll go into that. Like, no worries, you've got time. Okay. Anyway, they're not like, oh, cat people only talk to cat people. They definitely have interspecies kind of breeding because they're all human if you think about it. At the end of the day, what their animal form is really just the type of magic that they have. So they have some overlap, but say someone who is a cat person is going to have different strengths and weaknesses than someone who is like the fox human. They might have certain powers that kind of overlap a little bit, but for the most part, they're very that's kind of what makes them different is their form and the magic powers that they have. And that's kind of how your magic form develops is as a child, you can't turn into your animal form. You're developing your powers, you're learning your skills, and then as you're doing that, your natural self starts to come out and that's when you okay, you know what? You may have been in a family that's full of foxes, but you're actually a cat person. Like you're like that's the magic, that's where you go. And families aren't like sometimes it's a little odd like, well, wait, we're all foxes and you're a cat. That's weird. But it's not based on like who you were born with. You know what I mean? It's based on like who you are and your soul and your spirit. So everybody there is a little more it's also definitely a lot more accepting than if you think about it than the human race because think about like our society, it's terrible. Like you know what I mean? Like everybody's got like their factions, like there's the whole racism, sex and all those horrible things that exist. They don't really exist there because yeah, you could have an entire family full of fox people because that's just the way it's been and it doesn't necessarily matter if your son or daughter met someone who was a cat person or whatever other creatures they have. You know, I'm just using cats and foxes because it's just I don't know why. Like, but you have anything. You have horse people. You have dragons. You have lizards. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're more like but I'll always love you. You know, so they're very much it's not because it's just it's a different type of magic and that's cool and everybody's very communal in the sense of their community as a whole is very intermixed and you know which was good for her because she obviously wasn't even accepted like in her own family and she certainly wasn't accepted in school or anything. She had no friends because they moved around so much and she avoided people because people were scary to her. And the first time she slipped through and she met one of the people in this world, they were in their animal form. Oh, great. Oh my God, all the teenagers are going through phases. This is amazing. They were in their animal form and, it kind of set her at this comfort level. And the people of this world kind of knew that. And so they kind of didn't reveal their true selves, their other forms, or their human forms anyway. It's not really their true selves because their true self is both of these creatures combined, they kind of eased her into it because they knew they're very empathetic type of people and they are really good with understanding. And especially, her coming in, this little girl was scared and afraid but yet so welcoming and so willing to accept this world, which, you think about it like, oh, la, 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 I'm walking along and all of a sudden I'm in this magical rainbow fucking forest and there's like talking animals and that would be like really fucking weird. I don't know, I would be like, this is awesome. I'm tripping though, right? Someone drugged me. This isn't real. But she was more like, nope, this is where I belong. Cool, happy here. And like, plus they could sense that there was something, special and different about her than because obviously, like, you wouldn't just be able to get to this world. This is not like I just, like, crossed the board. Like, oh, hey, I found this new grocery store on the corner. Wow, I didn't know that was there. It's not like that. You know what I mean? It takes someone special to be able to get to this world. Just keep being friendly. Okay. But yeah, so... And the other thing about the people of this world is they're very much... I want to say they're a lot more gender fluid. So... There's not, some people do use more the pronouns of he or she, but most of the time they're they or them. There's not really a set specific, you know? It's not like here where it's like it's male and female and then people have the hardest time grasping anyone who doesn't fit into their tiny little rigid boxes. There, it's a lot more fluid. More people are they, them than he or she. But obviously, like, Nadia still was always a she because that's just how she was born and that's how she felt. And, like, they're like, okay, cool, whatevs, you know, because they are used to that. Like, there are people, obviously, that do. But children there aren't born the typical sense. Because they're a very magical society, it's based on, it is magic. So it's really bizarre if you think about it. Like, it's not like, okay, well, we procreate the natural way. You don't. No, it's magical. It's like, okay, there's like, so think about like the stories your parents told you, like, oh, there's a stork, and babies just come from a stork. And you're like, oh, okay, when you're a kid. It is almost like that. Like, it's just like there's a magical want and it's an energy. It's kind of like if you could materialize something out of thin air, like, I'm going to think really hard about a cupcake and it magically appears because I made it for, it's like that. Which is just really freaking weird, but also really cool because it doesn't, and I mean, and that's kind of part of how their society adapted to the point of you don't really need to have male, female gender. You could be they and them, and it's like you don't really, because there isn't. I mean, obviously, you know, they're technically they still are human type people, so they still have physical genders, but it's not like here where we label everything. It's like it doesn't necessarily matter. There's not this weird defining line where it's like, well, you have a certain body, you have certain physical parts, and that makes you that. It's not like that at all. You know? Which is kind of cool actually. I'm not sure what I want to be when I grow up. No worries, you've got time. I'm not sure what I want to be when I grow up. That's bullshit. You already know you want to be a fucking pirate because you are a pirate. Don't even give me that crap. Oh, she's going to go talk to her. See, she's like, I wonder what she's going to say to Elkie. Like, but yeah. So, and the funny thing is like, I realized this as I was kind of like reading through her backstory, kind of like making sure like I got, okay. Nadia, as you notice, she has her little in parentheses over there, like Ayako. That is her name in that world. And it actually means colorful child because look at her. She's like all rainbowy. And I feel like she was given that name because they saw inside of her was a lot more colorful and bright than kind of the outside, because the outside was very much a reflection of the life that she had as a child. And she had a guide. This was her guide to help her find her magic and find herself. And her guide's name was Satoru. And it's funny, I realized when I was looking at this, I'm like, Satoru is the only person that I've given a name from these other worlds. Like, I didn't give names to, like, Edmund's pirate captain that saved him, or, like, the people that Nadia met. I mean, not that Elkie met. Like, Nadia's was the only one I gave a name to. And I was like, huh, weird. Okay, anyway. But Satoru helped Nadia kind of find herself. And over the years as she went, she actually did have magic inside of her. And that is kind of why she was able to find this world. So Satoru's theory, I mean, I'm not necessarily sure if this is actually the truth or they were just telling her that to kind of make her feel like she belonged in this world, because for the while, even though she was there, she did still feel like an outsider because she wasn't quote unquote born there. She didn't really belong there. And she's just always felt like that in her life. Like her whole entire life. And in our realm, she's always felt like she doesn't belong. And her parents made her feel that way. Like she was unwanted. She didn't belong there. Like she never felt a part of it. And even though she felt more a part of Akihabara, she still kind of felt, you know, like there was still that part of her that was like, I will never feel at home anywhere because I don't belong anywhere. And that was just like obviously like a reaction to how she was treated in the realm that she was born in, which is ours, obviously. And Satoru, you know, kind of told her that they thought that some of the magic, because there's so many gateways. that she was so easily able to find these gateways to get into their world that obviously she had a piece of their magic. Like something had obviously crossed the veils and found her, and that's why she existed. You know what I mean? And it's quite possible because she's not sure if it's a false memory and maybe it's just a reaction to what Satoru said, or if it's something she actually remembers, like her mother saying at one point, like, you should like, obviously, like, her mother, obviously, and father, you never should have been born, blah, blah, blah. Like, but she feels like there were comments made about the fact that, they weren't even able to have kids. Like, the mother shouldn't have been able to have kids. And, sometimes people are told that, like, oh, you'll never have kids. And then it's like, and now I'm having a kid, I actually knew someone that happened to, that, she was told she would never be able to have kids, and then she has two now. So, things like that do happen. But, so Nadia's not quite sure if she remembers that correctly. Like, did her mother actually say that? Or, it could be a false memory. I think in her mind and her heart, she 100% believes what Satoru said. And it's quite possible that that's true. She's told other people this, and, I feel like Dinah is the person who is like, you know what? If you feel it and you believe it, then it's the truth. Like, Dinah doesn't doubt, because, Dinah's been there. She's slipped through the veils. She understands. But I feel like some of the other kids are probably like, I don't know, you think maybe it's a false memory? Even though they've been to other worlds, I think there's some more, sometimes... they have a little more logic with other people's worlds. Like, well, are you sure though? Because that seems a little strange. But then again, we've all slipped through the veils, so nobody really knows. But it has been brought to her, like that. Especially, the authorities, because obviously she's here now and she can't get back to that world. And part of that could very well be. It's not necessarily that she doesn't want to go back. She definitely does. But I think there's something that's tethering her here. I think there's a fear. And I think part of that is the fact that she, her parents died mysteriously. And not that long ago. So, and the police believe that she was responsible. They kind of know the history. Like, there obviously is a bit of a history of her being abused, but she moved around so much that there was never a lot of child services. People couldn't keep up. But, with investigating, they've kind of realized that, like, you know what? She was an abused kid, and she kind of acts like one. And, psychologists and social service people were kind of like, you know what? I'm pretty sure this is it. And I think that she killed her parents. There's no proof. There's no proof that she did anything. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Perfect timing, right? There's no actual proof that she murdered them, but there's just a belief. These investigators and these people just believe that she did it. So she was picked up by Dinah because there was obviously, a need for her to go somewhere, especially with all the stories that she was telling and everything. They think that she's suffered, a mental breakdown, and then then she killed her parents, but she can't remember doing it, and like. Obviously, again, no proof. There's no proof she did, but there's also nothing to help exonerate her and say that she didn't. You know what I mean? Because there's just not enough evidence at all. It's very mysterious. Hence the mysterious death. So, Dinah took her in and was like, look, we'll take care of her, because that's what my school is for, is helping these, kids who have these crazy fantasy worlds. I'll help you get back there, kid. Don't worry. Dinah puts on a good front. She's very good about it. And these people trust her, like, she seems to come out of nowhere and find these kids. And it's like, because that's her job, But, so she took Nadia in and she's basically keeping Nadia safe because, I think it was the best case scenario. Like I said, the investigators, they have nothing to tie her to. They can't charge her with anything, but they're really suspicious. And this was the best place for her. Obviously, because she slipped through worlds. So this would be the best place for her anyway, but also because it keeps her safe. She doesn't have to live with people, constantly looking at her the wrong way. She doesn't really know how to deal with this world because she's spent so much time in Akihabara and slipping through the veils. She's basically has no education. She's going to high school now because she kind of has to, like Dinah's kind of helping her, but I actually feel like even though they go to high school in the game, it's really more like a homeschool kind of thing. Like they have kind of teachers and stuff that come in here. And I believe that's actually part of the Every Heart a Doorway. They actually have like a homeschool kind of thing. Like they have teachers who teach classes. You know, and I think they probably have someone like Dinah probably has someone who works for like, you know, whatever government agencies and is like, yeah, nope, they're going to school like they're supposed to, even though they're kind of not getting the appropriate necessary. I mean, they're getting enough of an education that they could function in the real world, but for the most part, you know, they know damn well they're not going to. Their whole point here is trying to get them back to where they belong and trying to keep them there. Um, and if not, then yes, they have to be set up to be able to survive in the real world, but you know, it's more like she's not gonna like learn freaking like geometry and shit. I don't know why nothing will go in this trash can. Oh, my game's stuck. Okay, can I? There we go. I was like, why will nothing go in my trash can? But yeah, so I'm gonna put these things in the fridge for a second. So yeah, she's really got no formal education. The only education she has is from the people of that world. So she's got kind of like magical abilities and stuff, but she can't really use her magic here, which is kind of hard for her because it just doesn't work the same here that it works in that world. And she actually was a very rare. They're not really necessarily sure like what kind of creature she is, but it's kind of more like kind of like a unicorn cat. So she's got like that's why she wears her unicorn horn to remind her of herself in the other world, and then like her little kind of cat ear headband that she's always wearing in different colors. So it's like a unicat. I guess it's like a weird little creature like that. And you know, obviously she's definitely in that kind of special realm because she has magic even though she wasn't born in that realm. But again, you know, we kind of already know that she kind of slipped through that veil, or Satoru's kind of theory on that. And, you know, I mean, who knows if that's necessarily the truth. But regardless, she was able to use magic in that world. Like, obviously, she's kind of behind other people, but she's actually caught up pretty well for not having their formal education, not having been born there, and for the first, like, 5 or 6 years of her life, not being able to do magic or having ever been there. But you know, for 10 years, spending a lot of time there. And time there is quite different than ours. So she could spend weeks there and come back, and it might only be a couple of days in our world, you know? It's not quite like Edmund's where the time is that drastically different, but it's different enough that, you know, it might only be a couple of days and nobody would ever miss her. And it could seem like weeks or months there. And there was no set way to kind of figure it out. Like, you never knew. She could have spent what felt like 2 months there and come back, and it could have only been a couple of hours, you know? And, you know, when she first tried to tell people about it when she was a little kid, they was like, okay, she's just got a crazy fantasy world. And that's kind of where people started wondering about her, you know, when she would tell these stories at first when she was very young, when she first went over. And that's when they started wondering about her parents and everything. And that did actually make the abuse kind of worse because, you know, then people were kind of looking in on her parents and they didn't like that kind of attention and they were just horrible people. So she kind of learned to just keep it all inside and not talk to anyone. And then that kind of snowballed into them not having friends and hiding out more in school and, you know, running away. And so, like, when she disappeared, if she disappeared for like weeks at a time, her parents didn't even give a shit. Sometimes they didn't even notice or they didn't care. They kind of hoped she never came back, but she always came back. And it was either because, you know, she came back from the world, like, you know, if you crawled into a little cubby hole in the wall and that took you to this other world, that's where you're going to come back out. And sometimes you came back out in different places, really depending. And sometimes the cops brought her back. You know, they found her and, you know, she could have only been back for like a couple of hours, but then they brought her home and her parents thought, okay, she ran away and they got brought home and, you know, and it would just be bad. So she started being good at sneaking back in and out. And like when she did end up back home, sometimes it was accidental. She definitely didn't try to come back home. I think she did in the very beginning when she was very young because it was kind of that confusion. Like she had that young age where, she didn't know any better really about her parents. She kind of obviously trusted them even though they were horrible people. Oh my God, Dinah, don't die. Um, she's just over there having like back problems. And it is just kind of sad that, that was her life. But when she crossed the border, like that was just her salvation and that was like the perfect place. And you could see like, it's true. I didn't show you all of her outfits. We can actually kind of do that after she wakes up. But like you can see like all of her, oh my God, all of her like little knickknacks and trinkets and things that she collects, like anything that just amuses her because she just didn't have that for the longest time. You know what I mean? Um, she didn't have things. She didn't have toys. She didn't really like, I think she probably had like one thing that was hers when she was a kid. Um, and so now as she's gotten older, she just collects things. And she's also kind of good at finding, so like if she's rummaging around and she finds things that like people kind of, got rid of, like the snow globe, she'll kind of mess around with it and clean it up and spend some time like painting it or doing whatever and like crafty kind of things. So like, like these little eggs, I kind of imagine that she painted them herself, like they were just like how you can do that? You can like pinprick the bottom of the egg and get all the egg out, and then you paint the shell and like whatever and lacquer it, and like snow globes she's probably found. Um, the skulls she could have like painted herself, just like sculpted them in clay, and just all these little trinkets and things that she's gotten, like found little crystals and things and hung it on this little fake tree that she, found that was probably something that somebody threw away, that she painted to make it look pretty, and all of her little things and all of her little doodads and plants and things, just anything bright and beautiful and happy. And that's kind of what she's covered her entire room with. Even the jellyfish. Oh, we don't have the jellyfish. Purchase fish. Gummy guppy. Let's hope it doesn't crash my game. Yeah, there you go. Like in the gummy fish, because it's like, oh my God, it's so cute and weird and everything. Um, and that's just, again, like it's overcompensation, and that's why she's so brightly colorful and her hair is rainbow. And hold on. Woo! Oh my God. Okay. So can I actually say that's pretty much her story. There's really not much else to it. And I have to say she has got the longest, like most of them. So I have like a notebook where I've got like a little page. It's like what size notebook is this? An 8.5 by 6 3/4. So it's a kind of smaller notebook. And most of them, I fill out like most of the page. You know what I mean? Hers is like, I usually have like a little bit of like an inch or two of like white space at the bottom of the page. Hers is the one that actually goes down to the end, and I've even written a little bit in the margins and stuff. Actually, and Ezra's actually has quite a bit written on it, but some of them it's like relatively short, and we kind of just like Lane's is actually the shortest. I feel bad, but anyway, but yeah, so that is Nadia Ayako St. John. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm actually going to wake her up for a second so we can check out her outfits, and then we will probably call it a day. So obviously this is her sleep outfit, and she's now, even though she's a teenager, she was able to get tattoos and things like that. So she has gotten these, and now obviously these are like actual constellations, but we're pretending for the purpose that they are constellations from that world. And then she's got this magical kind of thing. They're like, space kind of things, but that's more like kind of like a pattern in the sky. And she got them while she was there. um, you know, and so of course she's got, also her little nose ring that's got a star. And she always wears her little ears. That reminds her of who she is. And like I said, she's kind of like a weird like catacorn thing. So like the cats and the unicorn horn kind of remind her who she is. So yeah, so here's her PJs is just like a cute little slip dress. It's very like a little uh outfits, change outfit. We've seen her every day, but we'll put her back in it for a second so we can check it out a little bit more. I don't know if we did this with everybody else. I think we might have done it with Elkie. I don't remember if we did it with Edmund. If not, let me know, and I will, in the next part, in the very beginning, we'll go through the others, and I'll make sure that you kind of see. So you can see, like, she's got her brightly colored clothes, her glowy bangles, anything that's kind of magical, glowy, sparkly, and her unicorn horn, obviously, for her everyday. She's not going to wear that when she's sleeping because it would poke her in the eyes. Cat stockings. Change into nude. That's not. This is her formal outfit. I absolutely love this. I actually had fun making her because she's just so bright and colorful, and I could just like not even give a shit if she matched or anything. So this is very like tea party, kind of like almost Alice in Wonderland. It's like big and fancy. It's got like freaking unicorns on it. And like her makeup is crazy and multicolored and everything. She's always over the top. Outfits, change outfit. Her exercise wear. Again, it's got like all sorts of cutesy stuff all over, bright colors. It's nothing super fancy, obviously, her exercise gear, because she has to actually like have something that she could legitimately exercise in, but it's definitely got all the bright colors. We've seen her PJs. This is her party wear. Is she missing pants? Oh no, she's wearing black shorts. But like her lace cat stockings over her stripy shorts and her funky boots. This is a little more, not as quite pastel colors, but like I said, in that world, it's all different color. It's just very colorful. So she's not like, I have to be pastels. Like she just like, as long as it's got a lot of color. And again, same, her makeup's crazy again. Change outfit, and we'll change into her bathing suit, which is just, you know, it's just blue, but it's like she's got the mixy match, she's got the jewels and the whatever, so yeah. So that's her deal. That is Nadia. She's super sweet and super pretty and just super happy. And I don't know if we went through like her personality. She's a friend of the world because she wants to be friends with everybody and get to know everybody. You know, that's kind of, again, a direct result of the fact that she was kind of always awkward and strange as a child. And why the hell can't I find her thing? Here it is. She's childish because she never really had a childhood. So she kind of acts a little childish now. And she can't deal with a lot of the reality that comes with being like getting into the adult age of her life. You know what I mean? Like she can't deal with it. So she's very childish. She's a perfectionist, you know, because she struggled, you know, she was always, like I said, she was an abused kid. So that kind of affected her, you know, need to want to make her parents happy when she was younger. Plus, you know, coming from a different world, when she went into Akihabara, you know, she wanted to make sure that she did everything right so that these people wouldn't shun her, even though they never would have done that. They were very welcoming of her, but there was just something inside of her, you know, that was always self-conscious and aware, and afraid. And she's very gregarious, obviously, because she's friend of the world, because she wants to get to know everybody and be friends with everybody and have everybody kind of like her. You know, and again, that's just... that's also, again, like I said, she wears a lot of the bright colors and she's very outgoing and social and everything to kind of overcompensate from the fact that, you know, her terrible childhood. So, you know, but yeah, that's Nadia. So, I'm going to wrap this part up here. Leave your votes again down below who you want to see next. So let's check out. We have Jack, and Jack has gotten some love lately, which I really do like, because I know he seems kind of normal. I assure you, he's got his own little secrets going on, just like everybody else. Maggie has also gotten some interest, and she's the one who lives in the treehouse. So, and I think as one of you guys asked, like, who lives in the treehouse? I forget. But that is Maggie. That is Miss Maggie. And of course we have Lane. We know Lane has gotten some love lately from you guys too. So I like that. I like that. We have Beatrice. Beatrice, what the fuck did you do to my bathroom? What? Oh, okay, that's what's place. Um, where's we need to have someone come clean. Okay, Jack, I'm gonna have you come mop and have you clean this. Somebody needs to do something, and Beatrice has pancakes, so but yes, we have lovely little Beatrice. Lovely little Beatrice. I love her big goofy ears, like her ears stick out. I love it. Um, we have Sloane who is taking a shower. Miss Sloane. And we have Mr. Ezra, who again seems kind of normal, but I assure you they all have fun little backstories. Again, none of them are quite as exciting for me as Edmund's. I really did love Edmund's. Like, oh my god! But I'm having fun discovering these guys and going through the stories again. And as you can tell, I'm sure I kind of have their backstory. I kind of jotted down, like I know like the main plot things, but it kind of develops as I'm explaining it to you. Like, you know, Nadia's is literally a page, and reading that page obviously is not going to take 45 minutes to do, but I have, on here, this kind of have the world. They have like the fox animal people that have magic. She was kind of, she slipped in and out easily. Her parents were abusive. They died mysteriously, and they think she did it, but there's no proof, blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, that's really just, I jotted down the gist of it, and the explanation and the details and the embellishments kind of come out as I'm telling you the story. So that's what's kind of fun about it, because, I don't sit there and write word for word everything I'm going to say and then kind of read it to you. I kind of just write the key plot points, like A, B, C, D, and then from there, we kind of start kind of developing it, like, well, why did she have power in that world? Oh, well, maybe this is what happened, and I like that. I like that because it keeps my brain moving, and I think we have a lot of fun doing it. I love the series. I love sharing these guys with you, and I really definitely think that, once we're done with this, you're going to school, but you really fucking need to take a bath. I can't even believe, can we just cheat you up? Because you are Rican, boy, and that's just wrong. And I did have some other stories and things, so it's possible after we're done with this, take a little bit of break, but come back and do a second installment with some new students and stuff, because I really do enjoy this one a lot, and I did have tons and tons of stories. I had so many other ones, but yeah. So many students that got cut from the first round. But anyway, so I will see you guys next time. Leave your votes down below of who you want to see next. And I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.